Hello, we're team number 2, and as I will discuss a little bit later, the reason will become quite evident why we're team number 2. We're comprised of Corey Bidoff and Shirley Ng from Sustainability, Mark Wilkinson, Rob Cleland, Anthony Scalercio, and myself, Todd Behringer from the Police Department. We decided to address the issue of illegal dumping due to the cost to city, not only in the form of staff time and resources, but also the cost of businesses. We were seeing an increased number of complaints and general citizen dissatisfaction with the amount of garbage that was being left on the curb, in front of businesses, and on city streets. This was not only a health and safety problem, but also an eyesore to the community. When we started to look at the problem, we had a team challenge. We looked at the increase of illegal dumping in commercial areas was affecting the economic vitality and quality of life for people who work in Santa Fe, and was causing an excessive allocation of city and business owner resources. There's a well-known theory in law enforcement, the broken windows theory, and it's what you tolerate is what you encourage. So if we just ignore this problem, it's likely going to get worse. So we set off to do some research. We interviewed over 30 residents, 7 business owners, held discussions with 6 different focus groups, and we had direct observations from Department of Public Works and police officers who patrol the neighborhoods. We developed a reporting prototype and received 8 survey responses on recommended changes. We also had a free dumpster day. We were held at one of the apartment complexes and surveyed an additional 16 people. We realized that there was a lot of trial and error on what has worked in the past or what hasn't worked. We also spent some time reassessing and focusing our problem. We realized that trying to address all illegal dumping throughout the whole city, both in residential and commercial areas, was just too much of a problem for us to address as our small little work group. We also looked at what applicable laws and ordinances might apply to illegal dumping. So part of this was educating our officers and educating our work group on what we could and could not do. We realized that we could not solely enforce our way out of this problem, that we needed to have a partnership with the community. We also realized that there was a lack of centralized reporting or consistency in reporting between departments. We also realized that there was a difference between private dumping and public dumping, and who was responsible for which. In the past, business owners became fatigued with the reporting because they felt like nothing would ever get done. They would report, and either there was no response or the response was inadequate. So we came up with some solutions, and it was a 3-pronged approach. We were going to try and educate, we were also going to deal with the reporting end, and then we were going to try and address the prevention part of it. The education component was going to entail where and how to dispose of the junk or garbage. We were also going to educate them on the consequences of dumping illegally. Then we looked at reporting, and we wanted to see if we can come up with a centralized reporting process in the form of our existing online web-based reporting, but also come up with a centralized phone number where all illegal dumping would be called in through one phone number, and then from there we would make a decision which department would handle the problem. This reporting would feed directly into either the police department or through Public Works or other agencies. We also wanted to be cognizant of cross-reporting on the same problem, so we just weren't dealing with the same issue over and over again. Then we looked at prevention. This prevention can come in the form of enforcement, either through law enforcement or code enforcement. We also looked at exploring funding options for mini grants, for camera systems, or even for dump vouchers. Then we looked at crime prevention through environmental design. And part of that education is educating business owners on what they could do to address illegal dumping, either through lighting, camera systems, fencing, or other methods. Then we set out to test our prototype. We redesigned our website and sent it out to a number of testers. We got mostly positive feedback. And the feedback that we learned was that some of the stuff was weirdly worded, and we changed it and became more clear. We also found that we were missing some areas, and we decided to come up with if-then statements, where if a certain component or piece was there, then it would direct them to another part of the form. We also found that we were missing some things on the form when doing it for private property owners. So what we're hoping to see from our solutions is more data in the form of reporting and ultimately, hopefully addressing those complaints, which would lead to fewer complaints. These fewer complaints hopefully would result in fewer actual illegal dumping, which would increase our public confidence. This would also have a bleed over effect with crime reduction. So the status of our plan, we're continuing to roll out our prototype, which is integrating with Romulus. We're also developing a visual crime prevention through environmental design infographic and also looking at case studies. We're going to be developing an outreach campaign and consultants with, we will also be developing an outreach campaign with consultants for apartment tenants. There will also be an education component as we look to get training with staff on the reporting steps and who to route the reporting to and who will address the problem. And then we're exploring options for mini grants for potential camera systems or lighting, and then doing community outreach. Hopefully through these steps, we will be able to address this issue of public dumping.